What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Nick Moseder here, and it's been a hell of a week, hasn't it? I mean, we've had so many things come down the pipeline, it's hard to keep up. And now, Donald Trump has officially pulled his endorsement from Marjorie Taylor Greene, representative in Georgia, somebody who's been synonymous with MAGA and for very many years has been very loyal to the president. So this is very shocking. However, it's not that shocking, as in recent history, she's been in opposition to Trump and has been outspoken against some of the policies of the MAGA agenda, and she's even gone on The View to bash the president and her own party. So, regardless, this is a very shocking turn of events and an interesting spectacle, so we've got to talk about it. However, this is one of those videos where you can't win because, regardless of what I say, some are going to agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene and some are going to agree with Trump. And because I'm a person, I have an opinion on the matter, and not everybody's going to agree with it. But we're going to try to handle this with caution and try to make this not divisive, because what's really, really important, and for those of you out there that are not paying as close attention to the matter, I want everybody to understand that essentially what's happening right now is the media is latching onto this. They are foaming at the mouth. They are salivating at the opportunity to divide MAGA. They see this as sort of a John Fetterman situation where somebody who was once loyal to the president now is not, and they're saying that this is proof that MAGA is dead. This is proof that the base is fractured, that Trump has lost some of his most loyal supporters, etc., etc. And we need to try to reframe this and regroup before it becomes a cataclysmic snowball effect that really does divide MAGA if we're not careful here. So before you jump on me for what I say, remember that we're all in this together, okay? We're on the same side, and we need to focus on what we actually agree on and what we actually stand for rather than personalities and little bickering and quarrels between two people that are supposedly part of the same movement. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do here is we're going to pull up Trump's True Social post, and we're also going to pull up some texts that Marjorie Taylor Greene has released and claimed that these texts show why Trump pulled his endorsement, and she ties it all to Epstein. So, before we get into that, be sure to like the video, subscribe to this channel, and if you want to save a ton of money, go to MyPillow.com, use promo code Nick at checkout, and save up to 66% when you use promo code Nick, that's N-I-C-K. Now, let's go ahead and pull up Trump's Truth Social post and read that. So he says, I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of the great state of Georgia. Over the past few weeks, despite my creating record achievements for our country, including a total and complete victory on the shutdown, closed borders, low taxes, no men and women's sports, or transgender for everyone, ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, biggest regulation cuts in history, stopping 8 wars, rebuilding our military, being respected by every country in the world, as opposed to being the laughingstock that we were just 12 months ago, having trillions of dollars, record-setting, invested in the USA, and having created the hottest country anywhere in the world, from being a dead country just 12 months ago, and so much more. All I see wacky Marjorie do is complain, complain, complain. It seemed to all begin when I sent her a poll stating she could not run for senator or governor. She was at 12% and didn't have a chance unless, of course, she had my endorsement, which she wasn't about to get. She has told many people that she is upset that I don't return her phone calls anymore, but with 219 congressmen and women, 53 U.S. senators, 24 cabinet members, almost 200 countries, and an otherwise normal life to lead, I can't take a ranting lunatic's call every day. I understand that wonderful conservative people are thinking about primarying Marjorie in her district of Georgia, that they are too fed up with her and her antics, and if the right person runs, they will have my complete and unyielding support. She has gone far left, even doing The View, with their low IQ Republican-hating anchors. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. In that post, I want you to note that he didn't say anything about Jeffrey Epstein, H-1B visas, or any of the points of contention that Marjorie Taylor Greene has with Trump. He made it clear that his opinion is she's just bitter because he won't endorse her And now she's going on tour bashing the president. So it's time to pull his endorsement. That's his take. That's what he thinks. That's what he's saying at the very least. Now, let's go ahead and pull up Marjorie Taylor Greene's response that she left on X last night. So she says, President Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him at all, but I did send these text messages today. Apparently, this is what sent him over the edge, the Epstein files. And of course, he's coming after me hard to make an example to scare all the other Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files. It's astonishing, really, how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out, that he actually goes to this level. But really, most Americans wish he would fight this hard to help the forgotten men and women of America who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes, are going broke trying to feed their families, and are losing hope of ever achieving the American dream. That's what I voted for. I have supported President Trump with too much of my precious time, too much of my own money, and fought harder for him even when almost all other Republicans turned their back and denounced him. But I don't worship or serve Donald Trump. I worship God, Jesus is my Savior, and I serve my district and the American people. I remain the same today as I've always been, and I will continue to pray. This administration will be successful because the American people desperately deserve what they voted for. Now, let's go ahead and pull up these screenshots, which she say is the reason that Trump just pulled his endorsement. So this is a text that she allegedly sent yesterday, just hours before Trump pulled his endorsement at 12:23 p.m. And she said to Donald J. Trump, check the flight logs of Epstein's plane. Bill Clinton is on there like 26 times. Hillary too. For many of us, releasing the Epstein files has always been for the women who were victims of Jeffrey Epstein, but also because we believed that Democrat bad guys like the Clintons were entangled and involved with him. Epstein was the spider that wove the web of the deep state. Lean into it, and that seems like a piece of advice. And I think it's worth noting here that Marjorie Taylor Greene texts in the exact style that I would expect her to. Now, this next text she sent to one of Trump's aides that assists him with his social media postings, to Natalie. And Natalie said the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Now, we don't know what was said before that, but that's kind of interesting. And Marjorie Taylor Greene replies saying, in every single interview I have done, I have defended President Trump. I've said over and over, the women say he did nothing wrong, and their attorney says he's the only one who helped. And the Democrats had 4 years to release the files, but did nothing. Stop ignoring the women. Many of them literally voted for President Trump and say so publicly. Them being raped as teenagers is not a hoax. Now, I got to give a little credit to Marjorie Taylor Greene in these screenshots because it kind of shows that she was pleading with the president to take a different stance on the Epstein stuff and make it about exposing the Democrats that were involved and making it about the victims that were raped as teenagers and not calling it a Democrat hoax. That's what she said to the president before he pulled his endorsement. And I don't think she planned on releasing these screenshots until the endorsement was pulled. So these kind of show her true thoughts on the matter, or at the very least, her communications behind the scenes are consistent with what she's saying in public. So I got to give her a little credit there. However, I don't agree at all with the way that she's framing this on social media, making it out to be that Trump pulling his endorsement has everything to do with Epstein and nothing to do with everything else that she's done in recent history. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene's literally been on a media tour bashing Trump and her own party. She's said that Trump is gaslighting the American people over affordability. She's saying that he's spending too much time overseas instead of here focusing on domestic issues. She's got this H-1B bill. She's even making social media posts ending it with, "Thank you for your attention to this matter," mocking Trump. So there's been quite a bit to justify Trump pulling his endorsement because she's absolutely done a 180 and is no longer supportive of the president and his agenda. Now, I'm not saying that I don't support what Marjorie Taylor Greene says and does and her policies, particularly the H-1B visa bill. I agree with 100%. However, it's more than that. She is bitter. She actually is appearing to be bitter. And she's feeding the Democrats with talking points about how MAGA is dead and how MAGA is divided. And one of Trump's staunch supporters has turned on him and is bashing his policies. That is not a good look for MAGA. And Marjorie Taylor Greene knows that, and she's acting like a John Fetterman. And I think Marjorie Taylor Greene knows that. She knows that she can go on the media and talk about how she's for the American people. She's not a Trump loyalist. She doesn't worship the president. She's going to stand up when she disagrees with the president, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing. You agreed with Trump for years. You were a Trump loyalist. You always defended the president for years, and then he doesn't support your Senate bid or your run for governor because you don't have the numbers. And then all of a sudden, now you want to flip the script, and now you're opposing every single thing that Trump does. So I don't buy it. And I really think she brought it on herself. Whether I agree with her about her stance on these particular issues, I think that this situation could have been avoided if she had been a little more tactful and not been so bitter. I really don't like this thing Trump does where everything's a loyalty test. And if you're not 100% backing him, and if you disagree with him in public, he's going to attack you, and you better get in line or you're going to get attacked by Trump. I don't like that stuff. I don't think it's helpful. I think we should focus on attacking the Democrats and the people that are actually fighting against us. I actually think in order to truly be America first and stand for free thought and free speech, it's going to be a disheveled, disorganized mess, and you're going to have a little bit of infighting, and you're going to have differing of opinion. However, at the end of the day, we don't throw each other to the wolves the moment you disagree with something and say that they're working for the left just because they disagree with you. I don't like that stuff. So my opinion's a little bit nuanced, and that's because I'm a free thinker. I apply critical thought to these situations, and I'm not 100% on either side of this situation, but I wanted to report the facts to you guys and let you form your own opinion. So I want to know what you guys think about this down in the comments section. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with Trump? Do you agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene? Are you somewhere in the middle? Let me know. And always be sure to like the video. It helps the algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.